Hello everyone, today I have for you very interesting tutorial for retrieving data from ServiceNow directly to Excel without ODBC connection. We will connect to ServiceNow using web services capabilities in Excel. The Excel file used in this tutorial and all links will be available for downloading in the YouTube video description. So first we need to test the web service connection to our ServiceNow instance before working with the Excel file. We will be using REST API for establishing the connection and retrieving data. Let's begin our tutorial by visiting ServiceNow wiki website. If you are not familiar with web services, then I recommend you to read more about it in the wiki, as it can be very useful for defining interfaces to connect other systems to ServiceNow. We need to go to REST API Getting Started section in the wiki. There you will find a link to REST API client extension for Chrome browser, which we will use for testing connection to ServiceNow. As you can see, I have it already installed, but you will need to install it first and then run it. From there, you will need to add some information to the client to get successful connection. First is the URL to your ServiceNow instance, followed by /API/now/table/table name. Here I am using incident table as the table name. Make sure the query type is GET. Now select the form method for adding the connection header. Here we are sending our ServiceNow instance information. What is the format of data we want to receive back by typing accept, and the value is application/XML. The second information we need to send is the authorization type and code. So we will type authorization, and how we will move the mouse to the value field, we will see a small button, construct. Click the button, and in the pop-up window we will type there the user ID and password for our ServiceNow instance. Very important note: I assume that you are using user with admin role. If you are using other ServiceNow user, then make sure that this user is granted the web services role in ServiceNow. So after filling user and password, authorization code will be generated for you. Now let's test the connection by clicking send. As we can see, we have a successful connection and we are getting all data from ServiceNow in XML format. But also we can notice that we are receiving lots of reference links and sysids retrieved with the data. All these unwanted links and IDs will be eliminated easily when working with Excel file. Now we need to save the link and authorization code for using later in our Excel file. Let's copy it to a text file for now. I expect you already downloaded the Excel file from the description. So let's open the file and go through the code in VBA, which we are using for connecting to ServiceNow. I will be using F8 to execute the VBA script line by line, and we will go through while running the code. First variable is the link to our ServiceNow instance, which you will need to replace with your instance URL. Second variable is the authorization code. We copy it from the text file. Third variable is comma separated string with list of tables we want to query. Make sure no spaces in this string. Tables array is the array of tables which we have in our string of tables defined above. In this part of code, we are going to loop through the tables array to define few things. First, we need to understand for which table we are defining the condition, and for that we are using the select case. So if the table is incident, we are defining the below variables. WS is the sheet name where the data is going to be copied from the table. Columns is the column names we want to retrieve, as usually we don't want to retrieve all columns from the table. Again, we are splitting the string of columns into array to be able to loop through columns names later. Other sysparam is a variable where we can define parameters specifically when retrieving this table. Here, for example, we are limiting the count of rows retrieved to 100,000. Please remember the default is 10,000 rows, and going above this number can affect instance performance. So always try to retrieve only the data you need and filter the query with conditions as in the next variable. SysQuery is another parameters where you can filter the data retrieved, and we will look later how to work with this variable. The same we are defining the condition if the table name is problem. Here we are building the final URL with all parameters for sending to our ServiceNow instance. We have also default parameters which should be applied to all tables. sysparm_display_value equals true, which means we want to receive the displayed value for referenced field instead of sysids. sysparm_exclude reference_link equals true. This will exclude all links to referenced field from the result. Now we are opening the connection with getQuery and sending the headers with the required format of data. And then the header with the authorization code, and now let's send the full request to the server. As we also want to see the status and results of our request, we are using the debug print method. If the status number is 200, so we have a successful connection. Then data is copied to the right sheet. Column headers will be copied only with the first row, and then the header variable will be set to true, that it will not be added again. So now I will press F5 to process the whole script to the end. The result, I have all data from incident and problem tables. Now let me show you very useful and easy way for setting query filters in the VBA code. First we will go to ServiceNow instance and the table we want to apply the filter. For example, the incident table. And here we are going to define all required filters, run the filtering query, and here as you can see the result is 5 incidents only. Then we will right click on the filters line, then select copy URL and use Ctrl+C to copy it, then paste it to a text file. Then delete everything before the sysparm_query and add and sign. Then copy the whole line, and in the VBA code we will paste it to the variable sysquery. Then we can run the code again, and in the incident sheet we can see the same 5 results were retrieved. Thanks a lot for watching, and please don't forget to subscribe for future ServiceNow tutorials.